You're watching Alabama's 13 News.
It may be hard for many to believe now, but for generations, if you wanted to enroll at the University of Alabama, there was a big factor other than grades. You also had to be white. But that all changed 50 years ago this summer when two students made history at the university.
Many people know the story of Vivian Malone and James Hood, but many may not know about the people who were behind them, helping, motivating them to stay the course and make their mark in history. Tonight, Kalisha Whitman introduces you to one of those silent foot soldiers of the civil rights movement as Alabama's 13 News celebrates Black History Month.
The year was 1963. The era was filled with great music. Moviegoers had their sights on Cleopatra and Sidney Poitier in Lilies of the Field. However, in Tuscaloosa, two young adults had their eyes on social change. Vivian Malone and James Hood were about to desegregate the University of Alabama.
Somebody had to blaze the trail, and these people did, and they did a good job at it. They were both very confident and competent as well.
At the time, Truett Evans was a student at Stillman College in Tuscaloosa. He is 70 years old now, recalling 50 years ago to those turbulent racial times when blacks were shunned simply because of the pigment of their skin is a memory that has yet to fade.
I wasn't actually scared. I was concerned. I was determined that the situation that was here at the university would not continue.
Unlike Malone and Hood, Evans didn't set out to integrate this institution of higher learning. However, he stood in the background with many, all while working with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Ford Foundation, and a number of other agencies to ensure Malone and Hood were enrolled.
I was motivated by really the live broadcast on radio at that time, coming out of Mississippi when James Meredith went into the University of Mississippi and all of the violence and the uproar there. And it just, I guess you could say it got my blood boiling. And I said, somebody should do the same thing here.
Evans is a silent foot soldier in the civil rights movement whose name you won't find in history books or by doing an internet search. But he was there, marching, protesting, and supporting the civil fight for human rights.
It was adventurous, it was time-consuming, but I think it was rewarding as well.
Days before Malone and Hood took the brave walk to Foster Auditorium, where the state would be watching, where the governor would be standing.
Do hereby denounce and forbid this illegal and unwarranted action by the central government.
A feat that would need the President of the United States and the military to accomplish.
If an American, because his skin is dark, cannot enjoy the full and free life which all of us want, then who among us would be content to have the color of his skin changed and stand in his place? Who among us would then be content with the counsels of patience and delay?
The two signed Evans Stillman College yearbook. Those writings are the only artifacts Evans has left.
Dear Truett, we walk in the path of narrow shadows, and what our fate nobody knows.
Dear Truett, you are making wonderful progress in the area of human relations. Keep up the good work. Yours, Vivian J. Malone.
And the gentle strokes of the pen still resonate the message of this silent foot soldier's fight for civil rights.
It was just a matter of going through the process.
Malone and Hood made a grand statement.
The University of Alabama is much different today than it was in 1963. Now, students can enroll with no problems. But the university has never forgotten about the two students who made that possible. In 2010, they dedicated the Malone Hood Plaza right here at Foster Auditorium.
But if it hadn't been for the silent members of the movement, civil rights may not have been the movement the world knows today. And the two students who were able to change the racial makeup of this university may not have been able to do it with as much persistence, precision, pride, and patience. If you ask Evans if he played an instrumental role, you'll get a different answer.
I have not thought of myself as that. I was in the background trying to help out, and that's the way I see myself now, as somebody who tried to help.
However, the members of the background, all the Truett Evanses who were involved in the civil rights movement, helped sustain the frontrunners like Vivian Malone, James Hood, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and Fred Shuttlesworth. It's usually those members of the background who get lost in history. But without the work of the silent foot soldier, the story just isn't complete. In Tuscaloosa, Kalisha Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.
And many of you may remember Truett from his days as a reporter here at Alabama's 13 News. In fact, he was the first full-time black employee at the station. Currently, Truett Evans is the pastor of Broad Street Missionary Baptist Church in Birmingham. And because his story is recorded here, his part in the civil rights movement will not be forgotten. And today, the University of Alabama announced a number of events planned to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the famous stand in the schoolhouse door this summer. For more information and to see this story again, go to alabamas13.com/blackhistory.